All right. So, hi, my name's Shayton. This is going to be a NFL, NBA sports podcast to where we are literally just going to be going through a whole bunch of different controversial scenarios in the NFL and NBA, like just a whole bunch of random different things going on in the leagues. Um, yeah. So, anybody else want to introduce themselves amongst
I guess
the
we'll go
people?
down the line. So whoever's under Che.
David.
Hello, I am David. I
Can
am
anybody hear
brother
David?
to Shayton.
Hmm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yeah.
you.
Oh, Shane just said, can you
I can't hear him. What the fuck?
God damn it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Keep it rolling. Keep it
Yeah,
rolling.
just keep it rolling, keep it going.
Technical difficulties. It's all good.
Uh, you're next.
What's up, guys? My name's Renan. That's it. I just want to point out real quick. I am not too much of a sports geek, so I'm pretty new to everything that's gonna happen in this podcast.
Basically, he's a little
So
retarded.
yeah, I'm a little retarded when it comes to sports. So yeah, I'm gonna be learning.
he's gonna grow on the way.
Yeah, that's it.
I am Cody, also known as Ivy
And then
Roxas.
Mr. Cody, sir.
I edit.
Nice.
I edit.
I edit.
Okay. So for the first episode, we're gonna do NFL. I have some controversial 2020-2021 season topics written down in my
Ooh.
notes here that we can go over. Um, is everybody ready for that or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first thing that a lot of people are talking about apparently is the clip of Derek Carr looking over his shoulder at Marcus Mariota in their first practice because people have been trying to bench him, and he thinks that Marcus Mariota is going to come in for his spot.
Well,
I think it's perfectly, it's a reasonable situation. Derek Carr got hurt. Marcus Mariota came in, almost freaking beat Justin Herbert and the Chargers at the end of the season last season. Marcus Mariota looked like a starting quarterback again. So I don't see why Derek Carr shouldn't be worried about losing his job in that situation.
David?
I definitely see where you're going at this. It will definitely it will better the team if Mariota came in. Derek Carr, he's good. He's a really good quarterback, but Mariota will definitely do better than Derek would, like, than he's been doing.
He Derek Carr kind of reminds me of Philip Rivers. He'll give you a bunch of touchdowns. He'll give you some really good passing stats, but he'll also give you like 20 interceptions a season. So
And in the end,
he's
Tua will
not
come
gonna.
in and do better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
like
he's
all of a sudden the last two
unconstant
games.
and unreliable.
Yeah, like the last two games he'll go off for like 400 yards and three touchdowns apiece, and then the rest of the season he's 200 yards, two picks, one touchdown, and but hey, once he gets in the contract year, that's when Derek Carr does best. That'll get him another contract extension for another 4 years.
So do you think Marcus Mariota is going to be a starter again?
Yes, but not with the Raiders. I think I think he might end up getting traded to the Jets. I think he might end up starting with the Jets.
Okay. Hernan, you got anything to say about that? You unintelligent.
you know, I've heard the names before. I didn't know what team they played for until Shayton just said something about it. But personally, if uh, Marcus, right, he's doing better than
Yeah.
Derek. If Marcus is doing better for the team, then obviously they should put him in and keep Derek out since you said he's been injured, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, it's better for the team if he's a team player. He would do what they're doing, but I mean, isn't he a selfish little prick? Like, what's the like?
Fair
What are you
enough.
doing, dude? What are you doing, dude? Come on now.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like Derek Carr will literally sit there and he'll be good for a season or two, and then all of a sudden he'll get injured. Like, it'll be a massive injury, and the Raiders don't have a backup quarterback that looks good. And then all of a sudden this last season, Derek Carr gets hurt at the end of the season. Marcus Mariota gets thrown in, and Marcus Mariota looks like what we thought he should have looked like coming out of Oregon. Like, Marcus Mariota looked like the quarterback he should have been as the number 2 overall pick, but I don't see John Gruden saying, you know what, yeah, let's go ahead and start him over Derek Carr, figuring Derek Carr is still making a ton of money. So I feel like it's going to turn into Jay Gruden's just going to end up trading him somewhere else. And it's going to turn into Marcus Mariota is going to take over a different offense because he dealt with the same thing as Derek Carr. It was injuries that ended up ruining his starting role with Tennessee, which now you see where Tennessee is with Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill is looking like an elite quarterback again.
Okay.
Is Marcus a second year or
no? Marcus was drafted in 2000. I want to say 15, but I'm not 100%
should we look it up?
sure.
Should we look it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And how long has Derek been into the NFL now?
Yeah, 2015. Marcus Mariota was drafted in 2015 with Jameis Winston.
Marcus Mariota was a first rounder in the 2015 draft.
Damn.
And then Derek Carr was selected in 2014 in the second round.
Okay, well, I mean, kind of says something. If you're a first rounder, you got potential.
With how I see it, is if they pretty much give Derek pretty much a rehab, even half season, get him back to where his rookie years was, where he was consistent, and then have Mariota fill in for him while he's doing that rehab practices and stuff, that rehab work, they can rebuild a good team.
What do you think of a dual QB lineup, though?
Absolutely not. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen in New Orleans because Sean Payton, he loves freaking Taysom Hill, but he kept Jameis Winston on the bench. He was hiding them, kind of like trying to make up for what they did with Teddy Bridgewater. They let Teddy Bridgewater play, and instead of having a backup quarterback like Teddy Bridgewater signed a contract to go start in Carolina. So now it's going to look like that they're going to be using a dual quarterback lineup with Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston because Taysom Hill wants to play quarterback. He doesn't want to keep playing tight end and running back and wide receiver and fucking any other position. So I think that it's going to turn into a bad situation because you're looking at all these teams who have multiple quarterbacks who have starting capabilities. You have Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is going to get the starting job, so Carson Wentz is asking for a trade. Marcus Mariota, that one game where he showed that he could ball with the rest of them, that's probably going to end up leading to him requesting a trade because he thinks that he can start again. And other teams may think that as well because when you look at teams like, say, New England, you have teams like, I don't want to say Jacksonville because they're going to take a quarterback. You can say Indianapolis. You have teams like Indianapolis that can get a quarterback. They're probably a quarterback away from a playoff team. The Colts could make the playoffs with a decent quarterback.
Okay. Well, we kind of strayed away from that topic a little bit, but it's kind of the same thing. Another thing that a lot of people are talking about are Deshaun Watson, now that he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm guessing that was a little while ago because from what I heard, he's wanting to request a trade now.
Yeah. So a few weeks ago, he actually did request a trade, but from the sounds of it, the new general manager, the new head coach, and like all of the people in Houston have straight up said that they're not going to trade him. So they're just gonna end up sitting with an unhappy quarterback in their organization. And from what it sounds like, is he's gonna end up holding out all season.
You think he'll go into free agency, especially now that J.J. Watt isn't there? J.J. Watt went into free agency.
I don't think Deshaun Watson will go into free agency, mostly because he signed a fat contract extension. That's a lot of money that's going to end up turning into dead money for Houston, so they're not going to have any money to go sign somebody or trade for somebody to replace him. But either way, it's going to be a lot of dead money because Deshaun Watson isn't even going to play because he wants out of Houston.
Anybody else?
Nope. Don't. Nope.
David?
I don't really know enough about this topic. Same. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we'll move on to the next one. Dak Prescott coming back from an injury and only signing a 1-year deal.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
I don't either.
I didn't really get that much information on this one. That's all I wrote down. So I don't know why he signed a 1-year deal. But
Shaden, I think your mic's muted. We can't hear you.
Oh, I heard him.
Really? Oh. I don't know. Okay, my bad.
Dak Prescott, he hasn't signed a contract yet because they're still trying to find out whether or not he's going to actually sign his franchise tag. He may end up pulling a Le'Veon Bell approach. He wants money. Dallas isn't willing to give it to him. But he knows that he is a franchise quarterback. He knows that he needs to get paid like he's one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Because when he got hurt last season, it still took like 2 or 3 weeks in order for another quarterback to catch up to the yardage he had. Therefore, meaning he was in the conversation of the early MVP races. So if Dallas is only going to give him a 1-year deal, why is he going to keep taking 1-year deals when he can go sign with a team like I was saying, Indianapolis, where they can give him a shit ton of money to be a franchise quarterback?
I think that Dak Prescott needs to go bye-bye.
Like leave Dallas?
Yeah, I think he needs to leave Dallas.
I absolutely agree.
I don't think Dallas fans are going to like that, but I feel like
David?
Dak Prescott is in like a really bad situation in Dallas, personally. Like I mean, they have some good people like Amari Cooper and all that, but like a lot of people on that team are like starting to get a little bit older and they're not as good. They're slowly starting to develop. And the only other good person they have on there is like Ezekiel Elliott, and he was kind of a one-hit wonder. He's like a one-hit wonder.
He fumbled 3 times in one game last season. He ended up fumbling like 6 times total throughout the entire season.
I think he should leave Dallas.
I absolutely agree. Dak Prescott's going to have better success if he goes to a different team somewhere else.
Maybe the Broncos?
Oh, that would be...
I'd actually like that a lot.
Yeah. Rebuild the Broncos next?
Yeah, who's the Broncos quarterback right now?
Drew Lock.
Broncos quarterback right now is Drew Lock.
Is he not that good?
He's good, just they've had so many better past recent seasons. He's not a great quarterback. He got them a couple good things last season, but it wasn't really that good.
Okay.
See, here's my thing. Drew Lock is in a really bad situation, kind of like how Dak Prescott is. Drew Lock, he doesn't have the protection he needs, so he's getting hit. And last season, he ended up getting hurt, so he didn't have the stats to go on. Because this was supposed to be his big season. He was supposed to have Cortland Sutton there to freaking just take off his season. He has Noah Fant at tight end. Just drafted Jerry Jeudy out of Alabama. Like, his season was supposed to be great. Then Cortland Sutton tore his ACL week 1, and all of a sudden Drew Lock hurt his shoulder in like week 3. So like, yeah, you just can't get rid of Drew Lock right away.
So what about Dak Prescott to the Broncos and benching Drew Lock? Drew Lock can be a backup.
That would be really smart, but the thing is, they'd have to pay Dak so much more just to get him to move.
Or you could trade.
Just from his 1 year sign that he just signed, he's getting $31 million in 1 year.
You could trade Dak for Drew Lock so that way they both have teams. But that would be kind of a really bad trade.
Okay, so my whole thing is I think that it would be a smarter trade to go ahead and trade Dak Prescott to Miami.
For what, Tua?
Trade Dak Prescott to Miami for Tua and maybe a couple draft picks. Because at that point, you got Dak Prescott leading a team, a Miami Dolphins team that was 1 game away from making the playoffs last season. That puts Dak in a win-now situation, which is where he wants to be. So, yeah, that puts Tua in Dallas with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Like, he has weapons to use. He had weapons last season, too, but he didn't perform with them. But who knows? Maybe a change of scenery will help Tua. But I think Dak Prescott should get traded to Miami.
That wouldn't be bad.
Nah.
I think Dak and Devontae Parker will be a really good matchup together.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can see that happening.
Dak has really good mid to deep field sight. Pretty much, he's able to read that really.
Yeah, really good quarterback vision.
Yeah, if Devontae can get out there, Devontae's fast. He can get open pretty easily. They can score touchdowns for days.
And then you got Mike Gesicki playing tight end, which is cutting right into the middle of the field.
And we're talking about Miami, right?
We're talking about Dak to Miami. Like, that would be the perfect situation for Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, from what I know, at least from recently playing Madden lot with you guys in our franchise, and me being
Dallas.
Me using Dallas Cowboys in the franchise, I could totally see that, helping out Dak, because he's not the best in the game, but he's a really good quarterback. The people that aren't in the Cowboys don't really help out much with his type of skills.
Yeah,
because honestly,
support his.
Yeah, because when I'm playing them,
skill,
I can't throw for shit. So it gets me mad when I'm playing against you guys, especially with Chayton, when he's really good at Madden already, and I try to throw long, like, deep field, and my people can't get there fast enough. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, he has a cannon.
Him going to Miami, and you guys, and you guys saying all this good stuff with the new people in Miami, I think they could help out Dak a lot.
Yeah, because like Amari Cooper, when Dak Prescott was playing, Amari Cooper was having like a career year. Like the stats throughout the first the first few weeks, they were going to be career year stats for Amari Cooper.
No.
Michael Gallup, he's always had like decent stats with Dak Prescott because he's the fast guy that he's just going to lob the ball down the field. CeeDee Lamb, he's a freaking rookie. So like it didn't matter if he got the ball, but Dak Prescott was getting the ball to him all season, like the entire time when he was healthy. So it's like the fact that Dak Prescott had 3 weapons, apparently he needed more. And it didn't help that he didn't have his offensive linemen because they all opted out or got injured.
Damn.
So it's like Zach Martin was gone, Lyle Collins was gone, Tyron Smith was gone. That's 3 out of like the top 10 offensive linemen in the league just gone because of injuries and COVID. Like they didn't want to play because of COVID. So what could have been a win now season for Dallas, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys can win with Jerry Jones. So I think Dak Prescott's best move would be trying to go to Miami.
If we go back to trading Dak with Drew, and I feel like both of those would be good because if Drew goes to Cowboys, then Drew has a really good pocket eye. He can see really close on the field, can read it really well, can read it under pressure. Pairing with Ezekiel Elliott would be really strong.
I just don't like the trade Drew Lock. I don't like the trade for Drew Lock because Drew Lock, it's too early to tell whether or not he's the quarterback of the future or not. It's been 2 seasons. He played part of a season his rookie year. He played part of a season this year because he injured his shoulder. So it's like if he can play 1 full season this season and it's a decent season, keep Drew Lock, rebuild through Drew Lock. It's going to be fine, especially because Drew Lock, he has the weapons in Denver. They just need to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, David, Dak Prescott, he can get to the middle of the field like with passes at ease. Dallas doesn't have a tight end. The last time they had a good tight end was Jason Witten, and that was, 4 years ago now?
So do you think that if Dak stayed there and they traded or drafted a tight end that they would do better? Or is it just to get Dak out of Dallas?
I think it needs to be get Dak out of Dallas because they wasted all their money on their offense. Well, I can't say wasted because the offensive weapons are freaking amazing in Dallas. The offensive line is one of the top 10 in the league. The receivers are great, but like paying Ezekiel Elliott $100-something million as a running back, he got paid $100-something million as a running back.
Damn.
You don't pay $100 million to a running back. So all of that money is now being put towards those places. So he's not going to have a defense to build a championship run. He's not going to get any more weapons for a championship run until other people's contracts run out. So he's not even going to get the money for himself until those guys' contract runs out. So it's going to have to be a get Dak out of Dallas situation.
Yeah. You heard it here first. Get Dak out of Dallas. Let's start a trend on Twitter. Hashtag Dak out of Dallas.
Yeah. Hashtag free Dak.
Hashtag free Dak. We'll start that on Twitter.
Dak to Dolphins.
Hashtag Dak to Dolphins.
Hashtag VD.
Doink to doink.
Okay. The last thing I got on the list here is an NFL's team going through an entire season without a name and planning to go through the next season without a name and also dropping their QB into free agency. The Washington football team.
Oh shit, really?
Anybody?
Oh.
Thoughts?
Peyton's talking, but I don't hear him on Discord.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, okay.
Welcome back.
Okay, so I remember during the season, Dwayne Haskins ended up getting dropped by Washington. Yeah, that was a fun thing. Alex Smith ended up starting. He got injured. Taylor Heineke started.
You cut out again? What
My
is happening?
goodness. I don't even know, bro. Am I back now?
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. So I remember freaking Washington ended up cutting Dwayne Haskins in the middle of the season because he had a problem with going to strip clubs.
Man, oh man.
And then they were like, okay, you know what? Let's turn to freaking Kyle Allen, right? Kyle Allen, he did pretty decent. He almost beat Seattle. He did beat Seattle. That's right. He beat Seattle in Seattle. It was crazy.
Rip.
The Washington football team beat Seattle in Seattle. Think about that.
That's sad.
A team with no name lost to Kyle Allen and the
Okay, just for
Washington
you
football
guys,
team.
just for all you viewers, we are the M3 Sportscast, and we side in Washington, Everett, Washington, that area, you know.
But
So,
none of us are Seattle fans.
I'm somewhat of a
No.
Seahawks fan,
No.
but
You're a
yeah.
Detroit fan, bro.
Before you get into anything, sports definitely don't choose Seattle.
Okay, to be fair, when I started watching football back when they were doing when they went to the Super Bowl, that's the first year I started watching football, and I loved
Gotcha.
Seahawks. And then once I started started watching more football games, I started watching the Lions. You know, I'm from Detroit, or not Detroit. I'm from Michigan. I was born in Michigan, so my first instinct was like, hey, they're from Michigan. I like Michigan. I'm gonna go with them. That's why they're saying I'm a Detroit fan. Just to make that note clear.
All right, but yeah, freaking Kyle Allen comes into Seattle and says, "You know what? Screw you, Seattle. I'm gonna beat you. I'm Kyle Allen. I can do what I want." And then Kyle Allen gets hurt, and they're like, "Okay, you know what? We have Alex Smith sitting on the bench, right?" Alex Smith comes in, dominates, takes Washington to the playoffs, and then like the last week of the regular season, he gets hurt. And then they're like, okay, yeah, he should be ready for playoffs. He doesn't get to play in the playoffs. So guess what? Their last quarterback on the roster, Mr. Taylor Heineke. You know what Taylor Heineke was doing before he was getting ready for the football game, for that playoff game? He was getting ready to take a college final.
Jesus.
He was getting ready to take a college final, and he ended up messaging his professor and saying, yo, so I just got called up to play in the playoffs against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So is there a way I can get an extension on my final? So he got the extension on his final, almost beat Tampa Bay, but ended up losing. But hey, he got a fat-ass contract extension.
Nice.
So basically, moral of the story is, if you drop your quarterback for going to strip clubs, you may find a diamond in the rough.
Oh, good
All
lord.
right, Matthew and Russell Wilson, get the fuck out. Go start going to strip clubs.
Yep. That's it right
Yo,
there.
bring back Geno Smith. Let's go, Geno Smith in Seattle.
Oh gosh. What do you think about them 2 seasons in a row with no official name?
I think they should have kept their name. I mean, if they find it messed up that they named them the Redskins, even though they want to show appreciation, why take away one of the most popular things that show them off? The name literally shows off natives and everything. Just
Their logo was literally a native.
Yeah,
exactly.
could have kept the native guy, and changed the team name to something else at least.
The Honolulus.
No, that's Hawaiian, my dude.
I'm
Totally different thing.
I'm messing around.
Yeah.
Oh good lord. Okay. I don't really have any topics, so does anybody know of anything?
Okay, when you think about it though, the Washington football team, in quotes, they were originally named the Washington Redskins in 1932.
Damn.
1932. They've had that name since 1932, and now all of a sudden it was, you know what?
Racist.
It's time. It's time for change. It's time for change, you guys. We're gonna be called the Washington Football Team. Yeah, bullshit. Like, I understand. Like, I can see where people get offended by it, but it's a sports team. You don't see the Kansas City Chiefs changing their name to the Kansas City Football Team because, oh hey, Chiefs. Oh yeah, that can be seen as racist.
Yep.
You don't. I think the Cleveland Indians are even thinking about changing their names in baseball right now.
Like the Cleveland Browns. Come on now. White Browns.
I don't see why they're changing their names though.
The
People
Cleveland
get mad
Browns? Why does it
because
have to be Cleveland
natives
Browns,
were-
bro? Why can't it be Cleveland Whites?
Cleveland Yellows.
The Cleveland Yellows. Oh
I don't think we
God.
should put this part in.
Oh God.
That's okay. It's okay. You know, gotta keep it nice. You know, it's fun. We're not racist, okay?
We're not racist. We're not
fucked
racist.
up. Just want to throw that out. You know, we're not fucked up. I promise.
Okay.
I just don't see why they have to change the name. It's not racist. Everybody's getting mad because they're finally realizing that natives were thrown out of this country and it's all that shit. But then they try to take away the things that still represent them.
That was true.
Football teams, NFL, the biggest sport in America, taking away a sports team that literally prides them.
Okay.
So, do you remember when I posted in our Discord the blockbuster trade proposed by Nick Wright?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
What were your guys' first opinions when you saw that?
So the Jets would get Russell Wilson. The 49ers would get Deshaun Watson. The Seahawks would get Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Bosa, a 23rd overall pick, and a 2020 first-round pick. And the Texans would get Sam Darnold, a 2nd overall pick, a 12th overall pick, 34th, and a 2020 first-round pick.
Were we like listening to that trade? What are your guys' first opinions? Like, what comes to your head first?
I think Russell Wilson to the Jets is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I also think that the Seahawks getting Jimmy Garoppolo and Nick Bosa
It'd
would...
definitely make the Seahawks a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, just to throw it out, they're defensive players, right? Joey-
Nick Bosa is.
Yeah.
I
know
feel
Nick is,
like
but who was the other guy?
if the Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson got switched around, Deshaun Watson went to the Jets and Wilson went to the 49ers, that would be a better trade.
Really?
I in my eyes, Russell Wilson is a lot better than Deshaun Watson, and I feel like with Deshaun Watson's skill set, he would perform better in New York than he would in San Francisco.
I see that. I see where you're coming from. So I think the biggest W in this trade probably goes to Houston, though.
All those
'Cause
picks.
you got all those picks, and then Sam Darnold. He doesn't have very long on his contract left. So if they wanted to rebuild through the draft, they have the 2nd overall pick, they have the 12th pick, they're gonna get the 34th pick, and then they have another pick next year. They could wait until next year to take a quarterback, or if they wanted to, they have this they would be receiving the 2nd overall pick from the Jets. Take Justin Fields. You can take Zach Allen. You could there's tons of quarterbacks that could be taken with that pick, or even the 12th pick, to where Houston's ready for the future.
I see that.
49ers getting Deshaun Watson, I could that trade would not be bad, but
I feel like he would perform better in New York, and Russell Wilson would perform better in San Francisco.
think that's what Seattle wants to avoid, though, because San Francisco is in the same division. Like, not just the same conference, he's in the same division.
Yeah, that's understandable.
So, like, I think
I just feel like if Russell Wilson went to the Jets, he would finish out his contract there and instantly go into free agency or propose a trade if it got too bad.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think he has very long on his contract left, though. I think he only has like a couple years.
Wait, Russell Wilson, right? Didn't he just sign a big contract though recently though?
Did he?
Didn't I hear something about him signing like a huge contract for like another couple 5-something years? That's what I heard or saw. Unless I'm wrong,
Yeah, you're right. His contract doesn't expire until like 2023, 2024.
Jesus.
Yeah, so Russell Wilson still has a long ass time. So if he gets traded to the Jets, you have to think about it though. If the Jets get Russell Wilson, that's going to make their market gigantic.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's going to have the Tom Brady effect to where people are going to want to play with Russell Wilson because they know that what he can do. They know that he can win. So he's going to get the receivers that he wants to get to come to New York. He's going to get the defensive help that he kind of has in Seattle, but kind of doesn't at the same time.
It's going to be a Brooklyn Nets 2.0 where once he goes there, like a different player is going to want to be traded or released into free agency. And then another one's going to come.
Exactly. You're going to get Russell Wilson in New York, and then all of a sudden you're going to hear news about, say, Adam Thielen wanting out of Minnesota. Adam Thielen, he's a good receiver. He can get you 1,000 yards a season.
Traded to the Jets.
Yeah, traded to the Jets. Or you can get a guy like, say, Josh Jacobs. He gets upset in Oakland, decides, you know what? I don't want to be the running back for the Raiders anymore. I want to trade.
Go to the Jets. Yep.
Like, Russell Wilson is such a high-profile name. I feel like if he were to go to somewhere like the Jets, he could get the weapons that he wanted because the Jets have the cap space for it.
Yeah, I see that.
Deshaun Watson, I like Deshaun Watson to the 49ers. The style of offense that he wants to run, San Francisco can run it. Kyle Shanahan's a quarterback coach. He knows that Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback. I would love that trade. Seahawks, that friggin' Jimmy Garoppolo trade. Jimmy Garoppolo's serviceable. He's the type of quarterback that Pete Carroll should have.
I feel like if this trade actually got accepted, Seattle would turn into a dominant team. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo is, like, I wouldn't say he's as good as Russell Wilson, but he's definitely he's not a bad quarterback. Everybody says that he's bad, but in reality, he puts up the stats. He's good. Plus, they would be getting Nick Bosa, which their defense does need a little bit of help. Their defensive line is not the best at all, right?
Yeah, they need the pass rush help.
So you would be giving up your franchise quarterback pretty much for a quarterback that's almost as good.
Serviceable.
Plus, you would be getting an amazing defensive lineman, right?
Yeah.
So plus you're getting 2 picks out of it, one of them being a first rounder. I feel like if this trade went through, the best part of it would be the Seahawks part of it. I feel like they would
think the Seahawks trade, like the Seahawks would be the best package, like they'd receive the best package.
I definitely feel that. I feel like the Seahawks are already a really good team, but I feel like if they went through with that trade and they actually had somebody on their defensive line, because right now all they have is like a linebacker and then their safeties, right? Their defense isn't anything special. But if they added Nick Bosa, so that way they'd have somebody in the field, like the deep field, somebody midfield with a linebacker, and now they have somebody on the line. They have a star in each section of their defense.
Gotcha.
That's Nick Bosa to the Seahawks would just stack their defense completely. They'll finally be able to get closer to quarterbacks, get more sacks. Would just stack it completely.
I feel like they would come out on top out of the 4 teams that would be trading. That would be the best one.
Hernan.
Honestly, I can't tell you. Straight up with
That's
you.
fair. No, that's fair.
Let's go Hernan. Let's go Hernan.
With Jimmy Garoppolo to the Seahawks, Jimmy Garoppolo past 2 seasons, amazing work. No doubt.
Aside from when he was injured all last season.
I meant 2 seasons ago, not past 2 seasons, but yeah.
So looking at this trade, the Seahawks trade, it would be a dub because Jimmy Garoppolo, like, he's the type of quarterback that Pete Carroll should have, not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is a quarterback to where your offense needs to be ran through him. But the Seahawks they want to run the ball. Russell Wilson wants to pass the ball, so Russell Wilson's going to pass the ball. But if Jimmy Garoppolo's the quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo's okay with not having to throw it fucking 40 times a game. Hand it off to Chris Carson, hand it off to Carlos Hyde, hand it off to freaking Rashad Penny. Like, he has running backs.
Plus, Jimmy Garoppolo kind of got some wheels.
Yeah, so he could take off if he needed to.
Jimmy Garoppolo is a very balanced QB. He will be
He
able
is.
to get running backs the ball if they need the ball. He can run it himself. He's a little speed demon. And he can also dart it downfield really well.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how he'd perform. No, he'd still have weapons because he'd have freaking David Moore, DK Metcalf, and Tyler Lockett still under contract for him. So, like, the team would be amazing.
Okay, David, you said you had a topic that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, now that this season is over, Super Bowl is done. With what we've talked about today, and everything we've said happened, Dak going to Dolphins and all that stuff, just our little guesses and what if happens. What do you think next Super Bowl would turn out to be?
Like, if Dak went...
to, like, Miami?
Yeah, if everything we said would be best for whatever teams, who do you think would go to Super Bowl?
I think just because Dak went to a different team, like the Dolphins, I don't think they would go to the Super Bowl right away, only because they don't have chemistry, and it would be his first season there. He would kind of have to learn a different play style. But I feel like if Dak went to the Dolphins, I feel like they definitely make the playoffs.
Easily, yeah.
So, I feel like if everything we talked about were to actually happen, so Dak to Miami, I agree with Cody. I don't think they'd make the Super Bowl. They would make the playoffs for sure, but you have to take into consideration they're still in a division with the powerhouse of the Buffalo Bills. We haven't even talked about how Josh Allen just had a freaking MVP season.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't think he's going to slow down, especially because he has 2 running backs under the age of 25 running with him. He has Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley. Like, he still has weapons. His offensive line is young. They're great. His defense is young. They're great. So, Dak Prescott's still going to have to deal with just an interdivision rivalry with Josh Allen. And then it's going to turn into, okay, we get, like, if they do get past Josh Allen, all of a sudden it's, okay, now we have to take on Lamar Jackson. Okay, we have to take on Joe Burrow, not Sam Darnold, freaking Ben Roethlisberger, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert.
Okay, but realistically, do you honestly think that in the 21 to 22 season, Lamar Jackson is actually a threat anymore?
I think people have figured out his game, but I do think that he is still a threat. You got a quarterback running a 4.2 40, 4.3 40. You're going to be a threat. no matter what, the defensive line isn't going to catch you. Some of the linebackers, maybe you got Devin White and Devin Bush, both of those guys are going to catch you, but like the older guys, they're not going to catch you. You're going to get first downs off like over and over again. The safeties are going to have to come up, and all of a sudden you're passing the ball down the field and you're getting 30 yards of play.
Yeah. With uh, yeah, it would definitely be. He's definitely still a threat because in order for a team to stop him with him being a little speed demon, they'd have to spread their linebackers, which opens up midfield a lot, which he could pass.
And they have a top 10
really
tight end
easily.
with Mark Andrews.
Yeah, they can be popping shots like that. Lamar can just go and fake a run and then pass it straight to their tight end. And then he can just run it down, have everybody draw to one side, pick it off to someone in the midfield, and just dart down the field.
That's fair.
I do want to hear your take on the whole Lamar Jackson thing, though, because if you don't feel like he's a threat, why don't you feel like he's a threat anymore?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that he's not a threat, but I don't feel like he's as much as a threat as he was his first season in. See, because his first season in, he was completely different. Like that man was fast, and those fake pass plays. Wow, that's a tongue twister. Holy shit. Like he could just run the ball and nobody really understood it. Nobody had to deal with that before because nobody was that fast, right? But I feel like now that a season, technically two, have gone by, everybody's kind of learned like, hey, just because it looks like he's gonna hand the ball off doesn't mean he actually is. People are more aware of what he's doing, and I feel like they kind of caught on. I'm not saying that he won't be able to, like, I'm not saying he's going to get stuffed. I don't feel like Lamar Jackson will ever get stuffed. But people are definitely paying a lot more attention to QB runs now. And he's not going to be able to get away with it as easy as he did his rookie season.
Yeah, his rookie season, I think the reason his rookie season was so successful, like, even the announcers mentioned it, they didn't, like, no team was able to play them twice. The only team to play them twice was the Chargers, and they played the Ravens back to back. It was week 16 or week 17, Chargers versus Ravens. Ravens came out on top. Like,
Yeah,
I think
knew what was coming.
Yeah, no one knew what was coming, so freaking Lamar Jackson was just able to take over the game. But guess what happened in the playoffs? That wild card round of the playoffs. The Chargers end up winning because guess what? They had just played Lamar Jackson. They found out his game. They found out the Ravens' offense style, so they were able to game plan and get ready.
Clear the pockets he goes through.
Yep, like
Get
they had a game plan for everything. They had Joey Bosa ready. They had Melvin Ingram ready. The corners, safeties, everyone was ready to take on that offense, and it ended up turning into a game for the Chargers to win.
With Lamar Jackson, it's just he can be stopped, no doubt about it. It is hard to stop him at times if you do not get your players where they need to be at the time they need to be there. He can just pretty much get through anywhere. He has good feet, he has good speed, he can get around the field really fast. But if you can get your people there, then and he doesn't have time to throw it, he's down right there.
Yeah, because you have to think about it. This last season, you know how the Patriots were 7-9? Yeah, one of those wins was against Baltimore. The 7-9 Patriots ended up beating Baltimore with Cam Newton coming off of COVID. Like not the good Cam Newton we saw in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season, but the post-COVID Cam Newton, where his play just regressed terribly. But like he went into Baltimore and said, "You know what? I'm gonna take a dub." He beat Lamar Jackson.
Damn.
So
COVID does a lot to you. So I mean, props to him for that.
yeah, Cam Newton, like you remember the Seattle game? Cam Newton versus Seattle. Cam Newton and Russell Wilson were throwing touchdowns back to back to back to back, like they were driving down the field on each other. And then 2 weeks later, Cam Newton can't play because he has COVID. He misses 3 weeks, comes back, and all of a sudden he's not the same Cam Newton we saw in the beginning of the season.
Mhm.
Imagine this: Lamar Jackson gets injured, tears his ACL from running the ball. Trace McSorley comes in. How do you think the Ravens would do then? And how do you think Lamar Jackson would come
Okay,
back after
okay.
that?
You want to hear my fucking opinion on this? Okay. I think, and not just because he was a meme. I'm not saying this because he was a meme. I honestly think that Trace McSorley did amazing.
They'd win 8 games, and all 8 games are won because of the defense.
Okay, so you're gonna have to fill me in on this. What do you mean?
All right, so there's a guy named Trace McSorley. He was a really big meme on TikTok for a really long time.
Mhm.
There was a game where Lamar Jackson he got hurt, so Trace McSorley comes in, right, and like he looks pretty good. He actually looks like he's gonna be a decent quarterback. And then he gets hurt. He fucking gets a concussion. I think it was something like that. But like he looked good. But he would not be a good starting quarterback in place of an offense based around Lamar Jackson.
I feel like he should go to the Broncos.
Do you think Trace McSorley should go to the Broncos?
I think Trace McSorley should go to the Broncos instead of Drew
He should
Lock.
go to the Giants.
Or the Giants. I think he should go to the Giants. Hey, me being a Giants fan, that doesn't sound that bad to me.
Yeah, Trace McSorley versus Daniel Jones quarterback competition. Let's see how that shit goes. And just a heads up, we ignored a massive topic that we could have talked about, just so you know.
You wait for the next episode.
Yeah.
I know.
We-
But I'm
we-
actually really freaking annoyed.
I want to get on this McSorley to Giants. McSorley with Saquon Barkley.
Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, just getting that, running with him, just all of that, and then just
Evan
the
Ingram, Sterling
the
Shepard.
The Giants would be so amazing.
Well, I mean, they're already amazing, but
Were they in the playoffs?
okay, listen. Oh my god.
It was just a question.
I know. You love hurting my feelings, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
The Giants haven't made playoffs in.
I don't want to
5
hear.
years.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
It's been 5 years. I think they need a change.
I don't want to hear it. Okay. Are y'all ready to wrap this shit up?
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
Just save Shane for next time.
All right.
We're gonna wait
Yeah.
till next week.
All right, Mr. Chey,
Yeah.
take it away.
All right, so this was the first podcast
What is it? What are we called?
of M3 SportsCast.
Oh, yeah, we are.
So yeah, let us know suggestions on different some more topics you'd like to hear about next week, and just thank you for the support. I'm Shayton with David, Hernan, and Cody,
Yes, sir.
and thank you for coming.
See you next week.
Yeah.